Welcome to Brightly, You Radiant Being, the show that wildly recognizes, encourages, and invests in the radiance we all carry so you can shine your brightest. Each episode, we share soul-driven advice and topics to help you live more brightly in mind, body, and spirit. Through sharing our experiences, friendship, and passions, we hope to impact you to step more brightly into yourself, inch by inch.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey, Amy, that was fun.
I know. We had a little mishap. We thought we were starting, but
Amy hit record immediately and we were not there.
Amy had her earbuds in from her phone and not her other earbuds in. I'm like, what's happening? I get
that would be a really good experimental episode to see how in sync we are if we just did one where we couldn't hear the other person and we just knew the topic and just saw what happened, right? Like red light, green light when the next person could talk and see how different we both took the assignment. Oh my God, we're going to do it. Maybe our 111th episode, we'll do something fun.
111, folks, 111.
Well, speaking of angel numbers, what a segue. Didn't plan that, but I'm taking it. I have, okay, so we listen to our own show most of the time. Sometimes I don't, but Amy always does. Sometimes it's too much for me. But one of my favorite shows to go back to is the Signs episode. Yeah. And whenever I talk about the podcast or recommend it or they ask where to start, that's the one I say. Yeah. And then
I'm sorry, I just have to say this.
What?
That resonates with me. I just always remember that and it makes me laugh. So go ahead.
But so the Signs episode, whenever I do tell someone to listen to a specific one, I then listen to it again to be like, oh crap, what did I just tell them to do? Right. And so this most recent one made me think about, when it comes to the signs in your life, and we kind of covered this briefly in it. But so Amy, how much of your fortune do you leave up to fate?
No.
No, we're not doing it.
No, what I'm saying is if I left everything to fate, I feel like, first of all, apparently I want to have more control than that. That just made me be like, what? No, that makes me nervous. So apparently I don't think I do leave my fortune up to fate.
So you're thinking like 20% fate, 80% Amy. Or is even that too much?
No, I don't think that's too much. Maybe 40-60. I would say, yeah.
More than I thought with your control reaction.
Well, I don't know now.
That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that because as soon as you said that, I was like, oh God, I'm like 80-20 universe. Take it. Take it. I will flow down this river of life.
I will listen to the universe. Like I will ask and listen to the universe, but I'm not asking or being like all affirmation-y or anything like that. No, you're going to listen to me, universe. Oh God, I'm in trouble now.
It's really common it's in budding metaphysical spaces, spirituality, even a lot of influencers online, even people really into personal and professional development, to look for signs, right? To angel numbers, to asking the universe, to getting, but most often what they want is positive reinforcement for what they already are going to do.
Absolutely.
Or that what they want is going to come to them.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of a quote by Benjamin Disraeli. I think I'm saying that right. But he says, we make our own fortunes and then we call them fate.
Ooh,
and so he's saying we're doing it. And then we're going back and we're attributing and saying, correlation equals causation and the universe is with me all along, when really we made it happen.
I believe that. I believe that we have made everything happen, good and bad. And I'm not just talking about fortune meaning good. I'm talking about anything that has happened in our life. I believe that we have created that.
And fortune, so fortune so commonly in the Western world is directly tied to monetary, right? To money, to currency, the wealth, lottery, that kind of prosperity and abundance. Mm-hmm. But fortune, as you just shared, it's it's the whole lot, right? So in
Mhm.
tarot, it's the Wheel of Fortune card, right?
Yeah.
So like you spin the wheel and let's see
You're
what
not
we're
you're not buying any vowels though with this Wheel of Fortune.
Vanna's not helping.
No, 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 no.
So then, okay, all right. So we're kind of getting some insight into Amy here. So I kind of want to ask everybody, but I hope you answer because we are an audio show. What is fate to you? And do you think you have a destiny?
So that is a good question. And I do think I do have a destiny. I think fate is something I equate fate and or destiny with like, here's the overarching theme of your life or overarching big box, right? And then you get to decide everything you do within that.
How you get there, what
How
you
you
do,
get
how
there.
you do, how and what you do in your box.
Yeah. But I also believe, so this is where I'm going to disagree with myself. I also believe that destiny and or fate can change as you make decisions throughout your life and do different things. I believe your final destination is not known at this time.
There are a lot of movies, Hollywood movies out there right now, new ones in 2022 about the multiverse, about how there are
Yes.
many different universes where everybody's choices created a different world, right? Sometimes they're called alternate universes. AUs is kind of before this recent string of Marvel movies and some other movies that came out. And you know, what I love about social media right now is they're like, I hope if there is a multiverse, I hope she's doing great, or I hope she's doing XYZ. And then there's this also, you know, this new span of people talking about jumping timelines, jumping timelines.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Well, I think timelines are something that we actually do jump multiple times without even being aware of it, that we don't even realize we're doing it. And I believe that we can get adept at doing that. And maybe this is a different episode on a different podcast.
I like to picture, like, if you think of a mind map where you just kind of start, you know, like with a circle in the middle with an idea, and then 5 lines all have circles, 5 lines all have circles. And I have to think that, like, with every decision that's presented to you, like major life altering, maybe every single decision, the universe is vast, right? But that there's actually 2 tracks, and this is just happens to be where your consciousness is, the consciousness you identify with, but that both things actually happen, right? Like that's a huge thing in quantum mechanics and quantum physics and all that, which I know nothing about.
No, but I love to talk about.
I will read the same book 3 times and not know what it was.
I will watch a Discovery Channel episode or show on it and think I understand it, and then the minute it's done, I go to talk about it. It's like, and then there's this thing that happened and this other thing. And there were like these
and it was
people. Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, I struggle with talking about fate and destiny and the universe and signs and all of this with certain people, or whether, you know, like I draw boundaries with who I share this with, which the irony of saying this on a podcast where I regularly talk about it is not lost on me. But in my day-to-day, people who know Tracy in real life, I don't open with it, or I'm very well aware that I don't hide it. I don't lie, but I don't fully get into it with people who I know or who are stating don't gel with it. Right.
Sure.
There are a lot of people who just really believe in the 3D and where we're at, and this is it. And I have to believe, I think it would be too much of a gray, black and white world, a kind of a sad place for me if that were it. If there wasn't like some higher power, some bigger purpose that, you know, it's kind of, it's kind of like when they give you a sugar pill instead of like the real thing, or like, and they don't tell you.
Placebo.
A placebo. Thank you. It's kind of like that placebo effect where it might be having some sort of psycho I just lost the word. When I learned placebo, I forgot the other word. Psychosomatic effect on you, where your brain is affecting your body, right?
Right.
I don't care, it was fake, it worked, it did it. And so,
Yes.
to some degree, I'm highly educated, I'm a professional, I understand logic and I try and apply it. But there's some things in my life where I go, damn, that was not me. that was something else. There is a bigger reason for this. I am where I need to be right now, and not even just for me, but like it helped other people, right? The connections I made. And so I don't know if I have a destiny though. I think that's where people struggle with purpose, right?
Yeah, that is a really good question. And I think that is the question that so many people who are interested in this kind of thing are always struggling with. Like, what is my purpose? What is my destiny? And I feel that we put so much weight on that it's almost like it stops us from doing anything that could even remotely lead us to what it could be, because we just think it's going to come down from heaven, with harps and trumpets and be handed to us like, this is your purpose.
And not only that others would recognize it in
exactly,
make the way for it and accept it as well and support.
Yes. That's not happening.
Speak for yourself, Amy. Somebody out there may have had that happen.
Oh, no, I do think that it is. I'm just saying it's not happening like that, probably.
Yes. So when it comes to destiny, I think it's really easy to compare or put it on a pedestal in a way where like maybe your destiny is exactly what you've already done and it's done now. And maybe that's why you feel purposeless, right? Like you just get to enjoy your rest of the time on earth, where having a body is kind of a big deal, right?
That is an interesting concept that I had not considered. And I do not think that my destiny has already happened. Well, no, I take that back. I feel that the whole thing with all that weight on purpose, destiny, also stems from the fact that people think they only have one purpose.
Ooh.
One destiny, right? And what if you have multiple purposes? What if my purpose was to birth 3 children into this world, and then those 3 children have purposes? And now that I've done that quite a while ago, my other purpose is something else.
I mean, like, what if part of your destiny is igniting another person's destiny, right? Like, it's kind of that whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right? Like, you have to be here and you have to be engaged and you have to do stuff. But so how much of your life is happening to you and how much did you make happen?
Oh,
so maybe, let's not go to the end of the line. Let's not go to like why, let's not debate creation in the next 27 minutes because that's what that show's about. But like, how about more like where you are right now?
Yeah.
Maybe the goals you want to achieve, maybe the goals you didn't think you wanted to achieve and you did anyways. Maybe the crap that came into your life you didn't want to deal with that you did. How much happened to you and how much did you make happen? And some of that making happen isn't just like spurring the good things, but it's, potentially that lack of responsibility, lack of action, lack of decision-making, lack of accountability, maybe
lack of even awareness, lack of awareness of the things that you keep repeating, right?
There's a huge chunk of my life that has happened to me despite my best efforts to make something else happen. And I am so thankful. Some people call that your Saturn return, and in astrology happens on like your 28th birthday or 28th year or something like that. I spent a significant portion of my 20s going towards an educational and career goal that everything around me was saying was not a good idea, right? So the people in my life were telling me to do it. People were telling me I was good at it. I was getting good grades, but man, was I on the struggle bus uphill the entire way. Fred Flintstoning it, in fact, no gas pedal, and not paying attention to all the opportunities that came my way because I was so focused on where I wanted to go, where I thought I should go. not paying attention to the threats and the bad things that were going to happen in my life by going so steadfast in this direction I did not need to, without a compass, making it happen, and thinking I was the reason why it wasn't easy, thinking if only I knew more, if only I did more, right?
Yeah.
And so when I stepped back, while I did have to deal with the consequences of not paying attention to what, was in front of my face, life started happening to me. I got a house. I got a dream job at a library that I've always wanted without having to get a library degree, without having to get another degree, right?
Yeah.
I got to support great, intelligent, hardworking people doing work that I admired in my way that capitalized on my strengths, right? And it all flowed to me. And so
do you think it was because you got out of your own way and you allowed this to come to you? So it was sort of like you allowed fate to take over?
Kind of.
I like that.
I still don't know why or where I'm headed or the overall purpose of it.
Yeah.
But I wholly believe I was headed so far in the wrong direction that something bigger than me created a crater in my path so that I could not do that anymore. I still had to crawl out to get back to the side I was supposed to be on, right? Like, it still took effort. There were still consequences. There's still accountability to be had. The hard parts of my life right now are because of those forceful decisions I made about my path, and not anything that's in the path I should be on right now. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I might need to rethink my whole, destiny and what I'm in control of, what I think I'm in control of.
I feel like I should write SAT questions with these kind of metaphors I come up with for you.
No, I really like the whole getting out of your own way metaphor, and the fact that you talked about, you were just forcing this other part of you, right? You were doing it, forcing it. And then the minute you stepped out of your way, these things did flow to you. So I really like that.
I had to acknowledge, it was just like, this is hard and it shouldn't be hard. Why is it only hard for me? Right. And so as soon as I was like, it shouldn't be hard, let's try something else. Let's just not do this. Actually, I didn't even pick a new thing to start. And that's when everything just kind of, it felt at the time like a punishment, like a falling away, like a loss, but it was never mine to begin with. And so I had to let go before the new could come in. And it took 4 years to let go. It was not a one and done. I fought it for a good part, and I had a lot of shame and guilt and regret along the way, which leads to my next question. Can you ever not be ready for fate? Is that an oxymoron?
Can you ever not be ready?
Let's say I never got on the struggle bus to begin with. Let's say I stood at the bus stop and I waved him on his way. And then the next bus was fate. But I was tying my shoe. I was packing my bags. I didn't make it to the next bus stop where fate actually wanted to pick me up. Can you ever not be ready for fate?
Well, I think that you can do what you did and struggle against it, but then something will happen. Something big. See, I'm already arguing against myself. So something big will happen where it's like, oh no, see, you weren't actually supposed to be doing this for this long, and now we're gonna make you get in a car accident or something.
Well, or how about, okay, so those 4 years where I was letting go, right? I didn't use my time in a way to capitalize the strengths I had, to create new strengths, to create new skills. And so when opportunities did come up, I wasn't ready for them, and I had to let them go. But a quote that I've heard recently that's helping me with what I thought was lost is, you can't miss what is meant for you.
Right. I do.
It'll come back.
It will. Right? It will. I believe that. I do believe that. I'd like to change my answer.
Let's go. What do you got?
I'd like to change my answer.
I like how in 20 minutes, I should have been on debate. In 20 minutes, Amy has like completely changed her view on the world. What answer are you changing? What do we got?
So, well, I wouldn't say I've completely changed my view, but I've realized I do believe these things, that what's meant for you will be for you. Like, I do believe in these things. I do believe in getting out of your own way. Maybe what I'm thinking of is like every day what I can control or what I think I can control. But the more we talk about
person, right? Like you already take action. So I love that about you, that you're like, oh, I do things every day. So fate, I can pivot when fate presents herself.
I would like to think I can. And maybe that's because I felt like for so many years, I had these things presented to me like you, and I wasn't ready for them, and then couldn't or didn't think I wanted them until like 5 years later. It was like, no, why didn't you do that? So,
because although I do believe in that what's meant for you won't miss you in the long run, I think your destiny can get dusty because it needs to be a collaboration. I don't think that it's either like fate is the action or I am. I think it's a combination of the two. I think it's a dance.
I like that. Yeah.
I think you're partnered, right? And so there's like an attitude and a willingness and an acceptance, right? But then there's also drive, perseverance, dedication, determination, all the stuff we talk about on the show, where like, even if I'm destined, let's say I'm destined to be an author, that someone in the world really needs to hear my thought. And so my book has to get published. I can't wait for fate to write that damn book. I have to show up. I have to write it. I have to hone that skill, that craft, that relationship, right? Like I have to live my life in a way that I can have the inspiration to write that book.
You have to live your life in a way that you can have the inspiration. I love that. I just was thinking of a quote, fortune favors the bold. Ooh, is that what it is?
That's it.
Fortune favors the bold. And so in a way that's sort of saying like, to me, what that says, what you're saying, you're partnering, is that you do have to create these action steps, right? You actually have to take action. You can't just wait for fate to flow over you.
It's not a gift, right? Like fate isn't a gift. And I think that's how a lot of people look at people who have or seemingly have good luck. As Lizzo, the R&B hip hop artist, pop artist recently said, it takes 10 years to become an overnight sensation. It takes 10 years of hard work to become an overnight sensation, right?
Yes.
And so when I was researching a lot of the quotes that, I've kind of accumulated for this, that was one of the most prominent things, was that fate and karma are intertwined and that you get what you give. And it's just when it comes to fate and destiny, sometimes it's like winning the lottery, you get more, right? But you still have to show up positively, not be putting crap out into the universe, not be stealing and taking from other people in the name of your manifest destiny, right? Like this is not the wild, wild west here. We're doing it with an awareness of others and with support and not a scarcity mindset, right? We have an abundance mindset with this. But so one of the quotes that I loved that I hadn't heard of before, that I think kind of jives with what we're talking about, is luck is taking a chance when you have a choice. Destiny is making a choice when you are given the chance.
Ooh.
That's an unknown author, at least according to where I found it.
Interesting.
So luck is taking the chance when you have a choice, which I think that's probably why I think fate is so entwined with my life, is I am very open to taking chances that are in front of me. But destiny is making a choice when you are given the chance. And I think that piece is where I'm talking about, where maybe you're not ready and that bus passes you by for a little bit while you get ready, right?
Yes.
So, we talk a lot about the wheel of the year and how that keeps turning and when you think of kind of like the wheel of fortune and all that. So there's a flow to this. And so I loved, you were like, I make it happen. I make things happen, you know, like I show up, I have small actions every day that should build up over time. I have kind of an idea, goal where I want to go. So I'd like to alter that too. I make it happen flexibly. As friends say, pivot. I like to think of the old GPS voice. They don't do it anymore, but when GPS first came out, if you missed your turn intentionally or not, this woman would just go recalculating, recalculating, recalculating. And then every time you continued to miss the turn because she's about 10 seconds behind where you are, you just keep hearing that until maybe you pause and pull over, let fate figure out where you're at and get a new map in mind so that she can redirect you. And I think that's part of like, still have plans, still have goals, still have actions, but be open to recalculating.
I just want to say that a friend of mine and I were, it all started because I said, wouldn't it be great if we had GPSs for like our life?
Oh God.
And like what we should be doing. And from that, we like took it and ran. We were going to develop an app. We were going to have all this stuff for like little help things for when
man, you can lead my life. Where's my map? Where's my roadmap, Amy? Here's my GPS. I'll give you the wheel. Let's go.
Recalculating.
I don't know. You might not let me analyze, research, and plan as much as I do. But so, you know, there's a predictability in life that I think if you're gonna follow fate and destiny, you have to throw that caution to the wind occasionally. That when it comes to fate, it's not necessarily predictable. Like how many people were like, I didn't realize I was going to meet the love of my life this morning, right? Like, and my whole life changed, right? And all they did was like go to the coffee shop 5 minutes later than they usually do.
Exactly.
Somebody new started at work that day, right? And like how many candidates did they have to beat out? How much preparation in their life before they got to that office and met you? And, you know, you created those babies you were talking about and created new fates and new destinies that had to be managed in the world. And then there's what I like to call, oh God, the unknown. You gotta be comfortable with the unknown.
You do have to be comfortable with the unknown.
How do you do that? Do you have like,
I think that sort of could lead into what we'll be talking about next time, is that resiliency and building resiliency for change. And so much is being able to deal with the unknown has to do with building your resiliency.
We've talked about it in the past couple episodes too, but it's I'm not starting from scratch, I'm starting from experience.
Yes.
So even if I've never been in a whirlwind, fated, a romantic relationship before, I have interacted with other human beings in my life. This is not my first time talking to a man, a woman, whatever, right? Like there's things I can draw from. There's books, there's literature, there's whole, movies on this topic.
There is. Yes.
And there's friends and there's people and, there's whatever it is you're working with, or, let's say it's a new job, a new house, a new whatever, this unknown, this new experience, there's support in it. You just don't know it yet, right? Like you just gotta look around when you get there, and it's very rarely is it just you. And like you said, when we talk about change and resiliency next time, but it's like, I think your ability to work with and accept fate is also based in like, how does the unexpected make you feel? And you alluded to this earlier, you like to be in control, right?
So here's the funny thing. There is a part of me that does like to be in control, but I think what I like is a control of the things I can control. And then that creates the ability to be okay with unexpected things.
Yes. You're kind of prepared without knowing without having the study guide for the test. You were prepared all along, right?
Without having the study guide. Exactly.
So a lot of this goes back to, we just did an episode on inner guidance. And so I think there's a faith and an optimism that comes with like accepting faith. When I was on that uphill struggle bus, I had many opportunities to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't. And in a few instances I did, and everybody told me, oh, just finish. Like, oh, just do it anyways. It won't hurt to do this. It won't hurt just to have it in your back pocket and start over when you're done, or maybe there's a new opportunity. And they all meant well, but I kind of negated my own inner guidance system in a sense.
Yeah.
I had faith in the wrong people and the wrong things, right? And so I think there's kind of like a pause that you have to take to reflect. I also think when it comes to fate and having this idea that it was meant to happen kind of a thing, it's really hard when there's bad things in your life, when there's grief and when there's loss. And this might not fit for everything, right? You don't, just because you believe in fate doesn't mean you have to agree with what's happened.
Exactly.
And then regardless of good, bad, where you are in the journey, you can ask for support, whether here in the physical or in the metaphysical, your, guides, gods, universe, whatever you believe in. I think we've talked before, like, just like, take it. I'm done with you. Just say it out loud. Like, I don't know what this is anymore. I need your help. It's yours now. Bye.
Yeah. And so here I am thinking I'm all in control. And I have literally said, okay, I'm opening myself up for help. I'm asking for help. I am literally asking you for help. I am open to receiving it. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm open to receiving it. I think that's key. Like, if you're going to ask for help, if you're going to go, this is yours now, Jesus, take the wheel.
And then they're like, well, how about this? Well, how about that? And you're like, no.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's like, dear God, I want to win the lottery. And then you never bought a ticket. Like, how does that work out? Right. That, like, or that person who, like, there's a hurricane coming and the person's like, God will save me. And, like a boat came, a helicopter came, all these people offered help. And he just kept saying God would help me. And then he died. And at heaven, he was like, God, where were you? And God was like, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. I sent you this. So it might not look like what you think, when you ask for help. Also, I'd say pay attention and journal to what you think the help will look like. And I think part of being open is like, it could be more than that. I think that's why we're close to receiving, is we're so unaware. One of my affirmations for this year is, I am open to receive what I am not aware to ask for.
Oh, that gave me chills, Tracy. I love that.
Yeah. Well, my other one was, I embrace change in all forms. And let me tell you, after the week I had, that is stupid. Talk about the future.
Just strike that from the affirmation list.
It should have been, I embrace change that supports what I want
to my highest good, in a good way.
It's like in all forms. Oh God, that's going to go in all kinds of ways. That's for the next episode. But yeah, so I am open to receive what I am not aware to ask for. I think is kind of huge when it comes to, like, I don't want to be in charge anymore. Also kind of, what are your emotions telling you? I mean, if you really want to bring it into the 3D, into your physicality, into your mental, emotional state, like, what are you feeling about it? So kind of at the beginning, you're like, ooh, I don't want to, I don't know, control.
No, it was so weird.
That was a whole body response.
Yeah, I'm going to have to I actually am going to have to reflect on that whole response. Meditate on that thing.
For me, I got off the struggle bus and fate was like, over here. And I was so in my head about what had just happened that I was too in those emotions that I didn't notice the bright, shiny days ahead, right? That I was just, I cemented into my feelings. I more than felt them. I made a statue out of them. I was feeling them a little too much. We did not need to sculpt our feelings for 4 years. So pay attention to that. And if you're sitting in them too long, as I said last episode, therapy, good friend, something, journal, any of that. But once you've done all that, you're left with co-creating your future, right? So Peter Drucker, this is my favorite quote: the best way to predict your future is to create it. Yeah. But you have to do it mindfully. So you have to do all that stuff we just talked about, right? You can't force it. You know, you may want, I'll use the relationship one because it's the easiest one to paint. You may want marriage and babies and a family and all this stuff. There's the right person to do that with, right? There's the, I want it, I'm going to make it happen, it's going to happen today, but you can force it, right? Like you can achieve it. You have to think about the overall experience of what you want. How do you want to get there? How do you want to feel when you have it? What's going to happen after you have it?
Earlier, you talked about it was a partnership. And I think that that's something important to remember with co-creating. You are in partnership with.
The person's there for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, you know, there's a book out there. I got it from the library. I immediately detested it, but a lot of people like it. I think it's called Power of Force.
I've never heard of it.
I feel like it's a way to manipulate human beings based on what we learned about psychology in life. And I don't like that. I don't like that we're smarter. I don't know that I like that the brain knows how to manipulate other brains. I don't think that's cool. Businesses do it every day, social media, games, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't like it. But so it's kind of like this idea of through force, through the power of my mind, I can make things happen. But then there's also universal force, and the universe is going to say no eventually in some way, somehow, right? I would hope. And so again, it's that co-creating, it's that partnership. So it's your strength of will combined with the will of the universe, being compassionate towards others, figuring out a way to do what you want to do and get what you want to get in a way that benefits. It's in the highest good. What's the saying? In my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. I think that's the most ethical way to do it. I know we don't always use the E word on here, but I think that's kind of implied in a lot of this stuff that kind of gets missed. Is this is not just I get my way, right? Like I get my way.
It can't hurt anyone else.
Exactly. Thank you. And then you have to leave room for chance, serendipity, happenstance. Like you got to keep your head on a swivel, right? Like you got to be on the lookout for those moments, those people on the boat, and the guides, forces, and helpers of the seen and unseen realms.
Yeah.
Remember, as I said, it's karma. What you put out, you get back in some way. You know, it's taking control of your destiny versus hoping things will get better, right? So there's making movement, but not waiting, but not forcing, right? It's a dance. It's an intricate dance. And so in terms of the business of you, I leave you. We've already done a SWOT analysis for many episodes now. So just go and look at what opportunities can you take? Where do you need more responsibility or actions? And maybe in social media, Amy will share her recent 5 whys she did.
Yeah, I might. Yeah. Episode. But I want to actually say, when I did the SWOT analysis, it opened my eyes to opportunities that weren't just in the opportunity square. It actually opened myself up to opportunities that were also in the weaknesses square and the threats square. So just putting that out there for that. But the 5 whys, I might just share that.
I love that. Well, if this episode spoke to your soul, please share it with a friend. And if you have time, give us some love on your preferred platform with a rate, review, and subscribe. You can also reach out to us via Instagram and YouTube under The Brightly Podcast, or via email at brightlypodcast@gmail.com.
And with that, we hope you have a bright and beautiful, fateful
day.
Fortunate day and fateful.